Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Paul Udom. Let me start by apologizing that my last video, if you have not seen it, you can see it. I actually came a little bit too hard on people that were living with HIV. I kind of made it look like they were the villain and not the victim. Now, the whole story of the girl living with HIV transmitting it to her boyfriend and the rest of it. So this video is a kind of an apology video and so much more. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, according to World Health Organization, in partnership with UNICEF, in 2021, did a survey on the total number of people living with HIV in the world. Now, how did they get that figure? They actually get that figure from hospitals submitting the number of people that are diagnosed for HIV in a particular country, and then they accumulate it and then get the total number of people living with HIV in the world. Now, as of 2021, a total of 38.4 million people were actually living with HIV. And remember that our population, the global population of this our planet, is about 7.837 billion people. Also remember that the total number of people living in Nigeria is about 211 million people. Now, speaking of percentage, I just had my first 100 subscribers, because right now I've made 10% of my total target of 1,000 subscribers for monetization. So if you're watching this video, please care to subscribe to my channel so my percentage can get high. Not the HIV percentage, actually my YouTube percentage. The total percentage of people living with HIV in this our planet as of 2021, the end of 2021, was about 0.487%. If you have 208 people standing side by side, one person is HIV positive. Now, in 2005, about 35 billion people were living with HIV, and 24.5 were from sub-Sahara Africa. Not the whole of Africa, but sub-Sahara, from Algeria, Niger side down to South Africa. That was the total number of people living with HIV. So Africa alone got more than 50% of the total population of people living with HIV. Now, let me shock you. There are 4 big people that currently have the highest population of people living with HIV in the world. We're talking about South Africa being number 1 with 7.5 million people living with HIV. We have Mozambique, we have India, and then we have Nigeria. Obviously, Nigeria will be there, okay? Because Nigeria will always carry first in bad things. Let's go to the highest, South Africa. South Africa currently have a population of about 60 million people. And people living with HIV is 7.5 million people. South Africa has a total percentage of 12.5% of the total population of people living with HIV. Now, if you don't still understand that statistics, let me paint a nicer picture. If 8 people are standing side by side in South Africa, one person is HIV positive. That is what it means. But let's come back to Nigeria, since we're talking about Nigeria, okay? So Nigeria, we currently have about 211 million people. How many people have UNICEF actually recorded for Nigeria as people living with HIV? Ladies and gentlemen, it is 1.9 million people. The percentage of people living with HIV is 0.9%. You still don't get the gist. Let me put it in perspective. If you have 111 people stacked side by side, only one person has HIV. Does that sound nice? I think it actually does, because when I got to see this statistical number, it kind of made me feel like, okay, we are number 4, but it could be worse, okay? So you have 100 people in a room, one person is living with HIV. That is better than having 8 people in a room and one person is HIV positive. That's like mad. People living with HIV in Nigeria are mostly adults from 15 years and above. So between 15 years and 50 years and 60. About 1.13 million people are women, and about 670,000 people are men. Now, that number kind of make women look obviously on the forefront. Yes, it's not actually me. I don't really see it as the fault of the women having that number. I actually see it as a fault of men. Let me explain. You have a lot of rape cases in Nigeria. You have a lot of polygamous issue in Africa as a whole. Nigeria, one man marrying 20 women. You have the issue of sexual abuse of uncles sleeping with their nieces. We have a situation of pastors sleeping with their church members. you have this issue of early child marriage. But if I don't mention prostitution, I think I'll not be fair, okay? Because a whopping 80% of women living with HIV in Nigeria are actually people that they call themselves the social workers, okay? The social workers, and other culture call them the women of the night, okay? So women of the night, they contribute about 80% of the total population of women living with HIV in Nigeria. So I'm sure at this point you must have heard of the eat properly, take a medication, and abstain from sex. Now, abstaining from sex is better said than done, because we know that sex is actually part of our human evolution. You have to have sex, apart from nuns and reverend fathers that are not supposed to have sex. And from the experience of things, we all know that sometimes they do have sex, but that is not actually the case, okay? So when people say that abstain from sex, actually they're not actually asking to abstain from sex. They're just telling you that please be mindful on how you spread the infection. Let me mention one thing before I go on. Now, please be careful on who you tell that you have this virus, because whether you like it or not, there is a huge level of stigmatization on this particular virus. There is stigmatization. It was just like when coronavirus came to Nigeria, that even shaking people was a problem, okay? So that's the same thing with HIV. If you have HIV, you tell your girlfriend. You're a girl, you tell your girlfriend. Or you're a guy, you tell your guy friend, okay? Now, at the end of the day, if there is any quarrel between the both of you, except there are very, very few people. So whenever you are telling somebody, please be absolutely sure that person is not going to spill the beans whenever you people have issues, because most Nigerians, like we all know, the Nigerians will like devastating people whenever there's any form of fracture in your relationship. You too that have information on somebody that is HIV positive, please don't get that angry too, because that is a serious matter. For the person to tell you that he or she is living with HIV, that person trusts you, and you getting angry for 1 second and spilling the beans on that kind of matter, and then thinking that 2 days or 3 days later or 1 week later you go and apologize, that is killing somebody, and at the end of the day giving the person medicine for the person to feel fine. By the side of this video, there are names of private, states and federal hospital that you can visit that actually gives HIV retroviral drugs. And from the looks of things, we all know that also that there have been a massive evolution in these retroviral drugs. Back in the days, they used to take the drug 3 times daily, morning, afternoon and night. It now evolved to the one that they take once daily. It now evolved to the one that they take once weekly, once in a few days, and then once weekly. And I think the one that they are actually taking now, that is presently being used in Nigeria currently, is the one that they take once in a month. And there's another one that they take once in a year. That one have not been rolled out yet in mass, okay? If you were the reason why you got the virus, why you contracted the virus, I mean, if you're a social worker, you're a girl, or you got it from your boyfriend, or you got it from your girlfriend, at that point you are the cause why you got it. So please forgive yourself, okay? Don't feel too bad about it. You've gotten it. You have to move on. There are things that you should do. There are things that you're supposed to do that will make you stay as long as you want, okay? And also, on the other hand, if you were not the reason why you were given the virus, let's say you were being harassed, or you were being raped, or you got into an accident, or anything like that that wasn't really a fault of yours, forgive them, okay? You forgive them, okay? The Bible said, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I think for Christians, that is what should be applicable. At this point, I think I need to bring this video to an end, okay? If you have not subscribed to my video, please do subscribe, okay? I care about you and I love you, okay? But God loves you more. I'll see you in the next one.